This perp back with another video. Just got done watching Wentworth season 9, or the final season, episode 4. Definitely make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at perpminded420. Let me know how you guys feel about this episode, if you got around to watching it. How are you feeling about this season so far? With all that being said, let's get right into it, because I just want to I have some complaints. I have some complaints about this episode. Definitely a slower episode. There are definitely things that I feel like were interesting, especially with Allie's character. You know, we got this montage of her just going through her daily life and just kind of being kind of miserable. She has like this toothache, which all kind of plays into something really interesting within this episode. We get introduced to a new character named Eve. You know, she's another kind of celebrity, but she definitely is starting to shake things up, as she has a past with Ferguson, and things with Ferguson I think are starting to kind of going to blow up with her, because Ferguson's trying to really contain these urges, but this chick is obviously poking the bear. While this is all going on, there's another storyline with Rita trying to clear her name of this murder, but things are starting to get really iffy because people are popping up dead. Not my favorite storyline, but I am curious to see how that's going to be resolved. I thought they were going to do more with Rita's character. I guess this is just what they're going to do with her character going forward. So Allie goes to the dentist to kind of get checked up on. She is looking into certain things about the gas that was used on her and the side effects. And it's all going to play into something really interesting towards the end of this episode. While that's going on outside, you know, Anne is really on the rampage right now, and she really wants to make an example of somebody. And nobody really takes her serious. She even gets a bag of piss thrown at her, and she points the finger at Judy, even though there's no proof of her doing it, but she wants to make an example of her anyways. Continuously poking the bear with Ferguson and Eve. I'm wondering to see where that goes. Is Mari going to get involved? While this is all going on, you got Vera kind of putting two and two together with the whole Ferguson thing, and Dr. Miller giving her these prescriptions that aren't really legal. They're just not on record and stuff like that. Now, it definitely seems that Judy's luck is starting to run out because she keeps trying to press her buttons. You know, Anne is just really feeding into it based off of emotions, telling Judy to stay out there all night, which leads her to get hypothermia, which does not look good for Wentworth, and definitely doesn't look good for Anne and her job, because if that word gets out, yeah, that puts her job in jeopardy. Get one of my favorite scenes of the episode is where we have Eve trying to attack Ferguson in her sleep, and she already know what was up. And I like that she remembers everything clearly. She remembers who she is. Little bits and pieces here. We still don't know exactly how much she remembers, but I think she remembers everything, even being buried alive, and pretty much puts Eve in her place. And I loved it, man. It was just so sinister. Going over to Vera, she's starting to feel a lot more pressures of being a mom and doing this job, and not really letting Jake take over. And this is where she kind of caves and just lets Jake kind of take control of the things and take care of the kid. And I'm sure they're gonna be able to work things out. And Jake seems to fancy this chick, Eve, ask for her for advice and stuff like that. Silly things. So Jackson pretty much confronts Anne about what's been going on in the whole Judy situation of her getting hypothermia, saying like, I will report you to the board. And this leads her to kind of have like a meltdown in her office, where Vera catches her, and you know, she's just really upset about her son that died, and this is on the anniversary of his death that all this is starting to happen. And Vera kind of says, you know, goes to Jackson and says, look, man, she's been through a lot. Just let's not do this right now. And this is my thing, right? It seems to happen a lot throughout the show, and it's kind of weird to me that a lot of characters are just letting other characters get away with whatever. Maybe it's going to lead to something else. I was just expecting this finale to be something more. I'm gonna hold off my whole true feelings until we get all of the rest of the season, because things definitely seem like they're going to ramp up going into episode 5. That's just a little nitpick of mine that I've noticed from this season and the past season. Now, going back to Allie, she's really up to something. She's planning something. She takes one of the tanks of, I think it's a nitrous or something like that. Not nitrous. It's like laughing gas. We don't know what she's up to. She kind of uses it for her own needs, but she's definitely up to something. It will definitely come back into play very shortly as we get towards the end of this episode. While this is going on, you have Ferguson and Eve kind of having a conversation, and I think they're kind of trying to find mutual grounds, because Ferguson understands that she's done horrific things to this woman, so maybe she's trying to make things right so she doesn't have to freak out so much. Going over to Vera confronting Dr. Miller about the pills, and this is why I was saying, like, people are just kind of getting a pass by their actions. They're not really being held accountable for their actions. And Vera was ready to, call him in and just pretty much report him for going behind her back. And I don't know, what he's doing might be working, but I feel like, I don't know, it's just only a matter of time before Ferguson kind of snaps. Let me know how you guys feel about that in the comments below. So as we get to the end of the episode, we find out what Allie was planning on doing, and she pretty much knocks Lou over the head and ties her up and interrogates her, saying, like, was it you that stabbed me? And this is where the truth starts to come out. And Lou's like, no, it wasn't me that did it. It was Judy. She was the last person I saw come out of that bathroom, and I saw you all stabbed up. So this starts to change everything. Now Allie's gonna start to look at Judy different. We can finally get that confrontation. I'm wondering how that's gonna play out going into next episode. Wow, yeah. So the pressure is definitely on Judy. So earlier on the episode, Jackson was about to report and for her actions and stuff, but he pretty much said, on one condition, if Anne goes to Judy and apologizes to her. And Judy definitely is getting way too cocky, and she's getting good news from her lawyer and stuff like that. I'm wondering how Allie is going to just react to all this, and what her reaction and just what she's going to do as a response. Is she going to torture Judy? I think she should just torture Judy to the brink of death, honestly. I feel no sympathy for Judy, but I think this was a really slow episode. Not my favorite, but it's definitely getting things going. Let me know how you feel about this in the comments below. Till next week, I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.